Hello and welcome to this episode of the Black Mind Podcast. You can listen to this every... Hello and welcome to episode 299 of the Black Mind Games Podcast. My name is Jeff Rock. Joining me this week is Josh. Hi,
I'm
Josh.
Here. Hooray!
Also joining us this week is the one, the only Allan.
Hello.
Hooray!
So,
What do we want to talk about this week, boys?
yeah. Let's talk about some stuff. So I basically did nothing this week. I basically just played video games and tax evasion.
I mean, tax evasion's pretty hard.
I mean, I committed a lot of tax evasion. Let's be honest. I ripped up a lot of
That's
forms.
good. I mean,
have you ever ripped up a lot of
You might want to
forms,
get to your
Josh?
punchline really quick here because if our
That is
tax
literally-
formation in Canada is talking this, they might not take this as a joke. Like you gotta get to that punch point quick now.
Okay, okay. There's a game called Turnip Boy, and you commit loads of tax evasion.
okay.
And unlike our horrible government here that is run by an idiot and his fucking stupid government cabinet that can't do anything. Sorry, I have to be political for 5 seconds. You have an even worse mayor who taxes you by about 50% interest and then makes you his own personal assistant. So I streamed part of it last night. It was great. That game is great. I like committing tax evasion. It is fun.
Oh, nice. Heard her here first. Jeff likes tax evasion.
And the only people it's going to piss off is not the government, because the government's going to sit there and they're going to look at my forms and they're going to be like, this man never committed tax evasion. He's a good person.
Let's hope. Hey, you gotta realize if you say that and the government actually starts to investigate you, that means you can't work until they're done the investigation. Just remember that.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Anyways. How was the game anyways?
It is, Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda? It's a half-decent Legend of Zelda clone.
It's pretty good.
So, it's a half-decent game. I enjoy it.
Half decent, huh? It's basically, I was going to say, for story-wise, it's just that you have to obey questions of the king and do all his dirty work.
No, you're basically finding out that the mob basically runs everything. It's a dumb little evasion that gets the plot moving, but basically you find out that the mob is basically having meetings in your greenhouse.
That's funny.
So it's already a 10 out of 10 game. The only way it would get any better if it's just started blatantly saying taxation is theft.
Just so it could give you, or just so it could be number one on your list of best games ever.
Yeah. It is a great game. I love it. I need to play more of it. I played about an hour of it, and everything about it, I love it.
Huh.
So I'm gonna probably play more of it. If I don't start another Mass Effect playthrough, because I might stream my stupid shenanigans of Mass Effect Ellie, but that's because I'm a fan. Other than that,
You didn't do much this week, did you?
I might have just played a lot of Halo.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm sorry about talking about Halo last time, boys and girls. That was me 30 minutes ranting
like
about a
6
game
hours.
that I enjoy but also hate.
You enjoy and hate are two different things.
Yes, I know. I enjoy some things in Halo 4. I also hate a lot of things in 4.
I just hate things in Halo 4. I think it's a bad game.
Anyways, Josh, what did you do this week?
This week I played Pokemon Go more.
You're addicted.
Yep. And actually, this morning I actually did the Swablu event, and the Swablu event was basically, hey, you know the Spotlight Hour? You know when between on Tuesday 6 and 7, nothing but this Pokemon will spawn. So you pop incense, you pop lures, and you just make this one Pokemon just spawn constantly, all the time. So you're trying to get shinies out of that one Pokemon. This event that happened, it's just like that, except it was for 5 hours. It was kind of nuts, because I went to downtown Leduc and with a friend, and we both pop lures, and we both pop incense, but then we start realizing, hey, there's more people popping lures, and by the time that we got our shinies and stuff, we were still getting tons of shinies and tons of Swablus. And everyone was just popping fucking incense left and right. And it was just like, holy shit, this is a party. And it was all downtown. And yeah, I actually got quite a bit of shinies out of it, which was kind of nuts. It's because it goes on for so long, and it goes on for, and also you pop so many, the shiny counter rate just goes like through the roof, because it's like you're bound to find one if you just walk around a bit. So it's like, oh, just go up and down the street a couple of times and you get like a shiny or two, and you do that like through the entirety of the event, you get like 50 or 20 shinies. It's like, Christ. It's pretty good. I have like a full team of shinies. It's awesome. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I also played a PC game called Teardown that uses that. Is it voxel based? I can't remember if it's voxel based or is it just its own engine.
What game?
The one that uses the fine machinery and or use shotgun you have to blow through a hole in a wall.
I think that would be voxel based, but it's probably based on Unity.
Yeah. Because in that game, I was playing that as well. And that is very fun. And also, I was kind of just like smiling and going like, yeah, I'm actually having... It's weird puzzle game, as in you have all the free time you want to look at the scenery and go into the scenery and like figure out where all the objects you need to steal from, because you're a thief in the game. And once you have figured out your route and where to steal the stuff, you start, kind of like chopping down walls and chopping down certain objects and breaking in, using cars to shove holes through walls and trying to figure out like, okay, if I put a car in here, I can jump on top of it and I can get over here and get this one item I'm supposed to get. And then once you lay out your entire your plan, then you try to steal everything before the cops show up and they get the fuck out of there. And like right now it's kind of easy because the cop thing doesn't happen not too often. So you have like this oodles of time of like, hey, go into this area and just destroy everything. You're like, yeah, I could do that. And you just fucking take the biggest bulldozer you find and you just ram it through walls, and it's amazing because again, the game's all about like physics and like things breaking in predictable ways and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, like, if I take this bulldozer and shove it through a wall, it's gonna act like I put a bulldozer through a fucking wall. So it's real fun. I really like it. And it's also like fire mechanics, and the fire burns predictably like you think it would. Like if there's a bunch of wood, it will burn it to a cinder. Like, and if you have C4, you could blow chunks in the walls and build. Although there is one thing I have a bit of a gripe about is if a building, take out all four, let's say there's a typical house and you take out all four walls except for one little pixel on the corner of the building. If you think the whole building should like tilt or something, it doesn't do that. It just stays upright, which I'm sure that's fine for designer, like for game design and such. But it's like, I kind of wish there was a bit of a bend, so you know where that the object is tilting towards or something. But whatever. Other than that, like the game is pretty freaking cool. It's yeah, like because it's all blocky and it's because it's all like you're trying to set up your own path, exploding everything. Like it's this best combination of like, oh, I'm just gonna blow the fuck out of everything and then hope for the best. Like it's real good.
It's real good.
It's real good. I really like it. Just blow the fuck out of everything. And steal everything under this one guy's nose. And it's pretty it's pretty fun.
Makes
That
sense.
does make sense, yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm probably gonna stop playing Mass Effect now because I played 20 minutes of it, but
Oh dear.
No, that's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, but I shouldn't be playing video games. I was very excited for this.
Oh?
I was very excited for Mass Effect LE. So, other than that, yeah. So Teardown's a fun voxel game. You play as a thief, you said?
Yes. So it's funny because when you start out, it's just like missions of get this object and get it from this area and get out of there, basically. And then as missions goes on, it's more and more destruction, but strategic destruction. So you got to figure out like, these objects are on pads. You have to destroy these objects, but maybe probably without destroying the pad because that will trigger these alarms. So you're like, well, maybe I can plan my route so I can drive them off the pads, but maybe hit an explosion when I jump out, and then you just keep, a bunch of shit like that. And yeah, so it's like at first you're a thief and you're like kind of stealing stuff, and you are stealing stuff in the scenery because that can also upgrade your weaponry and your equipment. So like at first you only get a sledgehammer, a spray can, and what was the last one? Oh, extinguisher. And yeah, basically it's like if you've made too much fire, use your extinguisher. If you can't keep losing your way in the scenery, you use the spray can to point your arrows to go this way. And like in the sledgehammer, yeah, like just destroy stuff with the sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer destroy stuff. Sledgehammer good.
Sledgehammer good. It's funny though because you can't destroy brick walls, but you can destroy everything else with the sledgehammer.
Yes.
Yeah. It's I like it quite a bit. I probably go back to it. I'm gonna probably go back to it a couple of times.
Josh is gonna play nothing but this game for like the next 6 months.
Probably.
He's addicted to it. Although I am trying to get him to play more Halo.
Just frick, it's just all I can think of is just Master Chief and his helmet, like with him wearing the helmet. No, what was it? The Spaz Kid's interpretation of him is pretty much what in my head now. It's just like he's a drunk dad, and it's like, don't worry, the chief is here. I'm gonna drop down and look cool as fuck, and he just fucking cans himself as he hits the ground, and you're like, how did you pull that off? I don't know. Yep, that's how I envision Master Chief. Did anyone else play video games?
I actually didn't play any video games this week. I just was at work and suffering that stuff.
Are you gonna bitch about work for the next 4 months?
No, actually, no, I'm not, because it was just kind of like one of those weeks where it was just the work. I'd be rather doing a different job at that point in time because I got tired of the thing I was doing because it was just a monotonous task that we needed to do before the start of the season. I'm going to talk about TV shows that I've watched this week. Castlevania Season 4 came out, and Love, Death, and Robots Season 2 came out.
Oh boy, that actually came out. Maybe I'll watch that.
I'm going to talk about Love, Death, and Robots first, mostly because it's easier to talk about. While I enjoyed Season 1, there's a lot of really good episodes in Season 1. Season 2, there's maybe for me 2 episodes that I really liked, and the rest I kind of just like put on as background noise. I didn't really watch them. I was just kind of like sitting there staring at the screen. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on. I was really bored. And one of the ones that I did pay attention for, I didn't like because the logic didn't track in its universe. there's like each episode has, of course, has a different name, and you watch them in different orders because that's how they did Love, Death, and Robot the previous season. There's an episode where a guy is on a train and they have to make a stop, and something happens. It's actually fairly clever. Like, you get warned, like, don't stray away from the train. If you are going to walk away from the train, you have to stay like invisible sight of the train, because they're in a big field of just deep, tall grass, and like there's no lights. It's dark out. It's night out, and guy strays away, and a thing happens. It's a really cool episode. It's really cool. Like, it's got the idea of like the old will-o-wisps of ancient like Irish and like Celtic lore and stuff like that. Of like lights will lead you away into your death. It's actually really well done. It's very solid.
So you like it?
I like that episode.
Okay.
The other major thing is that oh god, I just noticed the fucking thing you did. Fuck off. The other episode I really liked.
That wasn't me.
Ice. I don't care. You linked it to me into private chat. I'm not going to talk about it here, but fuck off. It's about two brothers being moved with their family out to an ice colony in the Outer Rim. It's got the old style of, like, you know, the pool episode where the robot's a painter, and he's like emphasizing that one color. It's in the same style as that. It's really good. It's a really solid episode. And it kind of breakdowns is like the younger brother has been modified, so he's quicker, he doesn't feel the cold, he's got better reflex, he's got better like strength, so he's got all these traits. But the older brother isn't modified, and so like he's like inadequate, he's upset. So, and it's all it is just like them doing a thing together with other modded kids and him proving himself, and it's a really good episode. The episode that confused me a lot is called Pop Control. Or Pop Squad. Sorry, I think it's Pop Squad or Pop Control. I don't remember. I could just look it up right now. You should stop playing that game, Jeff.
I'm not playing any game. I'm not playing any game.
You just popped up playing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I have you as a friend.
Shit.
Yeah, you dumb fuck.
I just stopped
fuck.
it. Oh my god. I have Origin open, so I'm like checking things out, so I must have clicked something.
Yeah, let me pull up the episode guide for season 2. I'll list off the names related to them.
I was sharing memes while listening to Allan and trying to...
Sorry, Pop Squad. Oh, sorry, there's 3 episodes that I like, and the other one is called Snow in the Desert, and it's... that one I think Jeff will like. I really liked it.
Is it better than Would You Rather Have It or season 1?
If it was in season 1, it would have been amongst one of the better ones. Same with Ice. Same with the tall grass, the train one I was talking about. And I forgot about the other one, which is Life Hutch, because it's actually it's another really good one. But I feel like it's kind of the weaker of the 4 that I liked. The rest of the series has automated customer service. Can go fuck itself. It's a really dumb one. All Through the House, and The Drowned Giant. I'm not gonna tell you about those ones because they're kind of, for me, they were kind of boring. They were like All in the House is a clever like, hey, it's a clever look at like Christmas. It's very cutesy, but it's like compared to the rest, it doesn't hold. It's like in the middle for everything else. The Drowned Giant is a documentary style thing, kind of boring. I kind of just stopped listening. Automated customer service is, hey, my robot that cleans my house is malfunctioning. How do I fix it? And so it starts off as like the episode phrase is, if your house cleaning unit is attempting to murder you, please press 3. And it's an entire little skit of like the person like listening to like the automated customer service, trying to find a solution to the problem, all that fun jazz. Again, it's just it's more of a goofy like a what if scenario, and I don't know how I feel about that one. I think it's dumb. I'll read you off the another thing. Oh, fuck off, Jeff. Stop linking me things. ICE is about two brothers from far from home join a genetically modded locals at a deadly race. Pop Squad, a cop charged with fighting the scourge of overpopulation, is haunted by the human toll of his work. You know, that sounds like a really cool, story hook. It is so horribly handled in universe. It's so bad. It's really bad. Snow
On
in
a
the
scale
desert.
of 1 to 10, how bad is it?
Like tismy bad. Like it's like 3 out of 10 for me. I've got Snow in the Desert, which is every bounty hunter in the galaxy wants a piece of snow. It's really quick and really clever. It fits really well with the idea of Love, Death, and Robots. Primarily because it takes this like really clever concept of like, well, he's wanted, but what is he wanted for? He's on this kind of like arid, hot fire planet, or like, well, desert planet that like if you're out in the sun for too long, you'll die and stuff like that. It's done really well. Beautiful 3D animation, very well thought out world and stuff like that. Tall grass. A journey across the prairie becomes the man. A man becomes transfixed with distant ghostly lights. Again, I've already described that one. All throughout the house on Christmas Eve, two kids tiptoe downstairs. It's a twisted tale for adult only. It's really it's clever. It's cute, but it's kind of the weak. It's one of the weaker ones in my opinion. Life hutch after crash landing on a planet. A pilot makes his way to a shelter only to find a danger within. It's again really good, and of course the Drowned Giant, which is just a documentary about a giant that washed up on shore. It's actually kind of boring. Overall, I like season 2, but it's kind of just meh.
It's not as good as the original was.
No, the original has some of my favorite episodes. I gotta pull up season 1 here really quickly. Lucky 13 is in it. 3 Robots is in season 1.
It has some really good episodes in it.
We have Sonia's Edge, 3 Robots, Beyond the Aquila Drift, The Secret War, The Sucker of Souls, Suits, The Witness, Good Hunting, Shapeshifters, Zima Blue, Blind Spot, and Lucky 13. Those are like ones I really like. Lucky 13 actually got me to start reading a novel series because it comes from a novel series.
Wait,
like,
actually, Lucky 13
yeah,
comes from...
everything in season 1, as far as I know, has reference to a novel or series that they like people have, like short stories and stuff like that has been written. Lucky 13 is based on a series by Marcus Coos, and it's really, really good. It's about, like, a good example for, in this universe, you have faster than light travel, humanity started to spread out, it encounters the first alien race by the end of the first book, and not only is humanity woefully outclassed, humanity is also very, very small. And I don't mean like, oh, the alien race has a massive planetary colony system and stuff like that. No, I mean like the aliens are 50-foot tall space monsters. And they're all organic, like standard munitions from humans don't work. You require like nukes and like armor-piercing explosive rounds. You require, like, there's a lot of shit. And like humanity, even with like all of their ships, like their ships are actually fairly good for dealing with ground problems. But because space combat is very quick and one and done, like you get hit like 1 or 2 times and you're just done. All the aliens have to do is just hit human ships once, and it just rips their ships apart because they're bioweapons. They're not like metallic weapons. They're not using plasma lances. They're just the best way to describe it, as they described in the last book that I read, which the aliens have found Earth. They've cut off all the contact with colonies beyond like the system. They have to the humans have to use nodes to travel to and from out of system and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what they find when they exit one of the nodes with their stealth ship is that there's a pack of these massive, like 2.5 kilometer warships just floating around the thing in a circling formation, like sharks hunting, waiting for prey. And it's done really, really well. Like, the aliens do feel like a visceral threat in the novels. You don't see it in Lucky 13. You see the Russo-Sino Alliance and the North American Commonwealth, the two major groups on Earth, because there's actually a bunch of like little groups. There's the African Union, the Indonesian Alliance, the Oceanic Alliance. Sorry, not the Indonesian Alliance. The Oceanic Confederacy. Oh no, sorry. The Oceanic Alliance Bloc, the OAB. There's the South American banking. This is me going into a little rant about a series I really like. Each like the major continents, like Europe has the European Union in it. It's still the European Union, but it's the European Union fleet, the UNF. And so like they have all like the Earth is still divided up into these blocks. The colonies all have their tags with all their different blocks. The two major powers are the Russo-Sino Alliance, it's the SRA. Sorry, the Sino-Russian Alliance versus the NAC, which is North American Commonwealth. And it's done really well. I don't know if I agree with some of the world building in it, but at the same time, I understand what they're going for. Like the North American Commonwealth is bloated and weak, and like if you get into the military, you tend to stay in the military because money is basically worth nothing on Earth now, because it's just the currency has just dropped to nothing. There's no value to it. Colonies
Sounds
are really
about right.
colonies are hard to live on, and if you live in any of the major inner cities, like where you got city block towers and stuff like that, there's no work. There's slums. Everybody's on like government handouts. It's actually like it looks really grim, and I really like it because the only way to really get out of it is get in the military, get your 5 years done in the military service, and then ship off to a colony to maybe have a good life out there. But like, it's really funny because the character meets a sergeant who's been decorated with like the highest honor of the Commonwealth, and the sergeant's like, "Nah, you don't want to leave the military in 5 years." And he's like, "Why wouldn't I? This job sucks. I just want the $1 million, the $5 million I'm going to get at the end of my term of service, and then ship off to an outer colony." And she's like, "Yeah, you're not going to last out there. Like, the colonies have a massive turnaround rate on colonists. You're going to end up back here. And my recommendation is when your 5-year term is up, you re-sign that contract and do another 5 years. And you just keep doing that until you're either dead or you can't anymore." And in the second book, you start off with him saying it's been 5 years. He's been transferred over to a different unit to help deal with like the Lankies, which are the aliens threat. He's part of the specialist program that is meant to like help them like nuke Lankies from far distance, so they don't have to risk ships. But it's a very specialist program. They can't guarantee wins. All that fun jazz. He finishes.
So it's shitty.
He finishes his 5 years term. Sorry, 6-year term, because he fucked up. He fucked up in his first year, so he had to get re-signed over to a different program. That's story. That's in the first novel. It's really good. I strongly recommend this series.
So I should pick it up and read it.
Yes. It's a little it's a little dry in some places, I will admit. But like a good example, you know what the assault rifles are in this universe? They use flechette rounds. Do you know what flechette rounds are, Jeff?
Are they armor piercing rounds that just like basically
Go look at what
rip you.
flechette rounds are, and think about that as an assault rifle that is meant to be like, oh, it's so good. It's like I really like it. It's and on top of that, oh man, it's a really good series. I actually strongly recommend it.
Okay, well, Alan, you can't continue talking about shit all the time.
I know. I'm sorry. We'll talk about something else before I talk about Castlevania Season 4.
Okay, so you like?
I liked some of the episodes in Season 2. I'm more fond of Season 1 by a long shot.
Oh shit!
What?
So flechette rounds, I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah.
They're just armor piercing.
Armor
Flechette
piercing.
rounds is
Yeah.
steel projectile with a varnish tail stabilized. The name flechette comes with a little arrow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. They are. You're shooting darts at people
Oh god.
with an assault rifle that, like, so you're basically shooting a sable round. It's so well done. I really like it. Yeah. Sorry. I got only one other thing to talk about this week, and that's Castlevania. But I'll let Josh or you talk about something else.
Josh, do you have anything you want to talk about? Josh?
Trying to think. Nope. Trying to think of like, maybe something Pokemon related, but not really. Other than because I've been playing so much Go, I'm thinking of trying to get a Switch, but that hasn't dropped in price yet, so it's probably gonna wait even longer.
Josh has a problem, have you noticed?
I want Nintendo shit to be cheaper.
Josh has a problem.
Just I want to be free. Give it to me free. Come on.
Josh.
Yeah, I doubt you
Josh,
ever
we've
needed
been-
that. Oh, hey.
Gimme.
Josh, we identified that you have a problem. We all understand.
Gimme.
I don't know if I really want to Switch anymore. There's only really 2 games I want on it, and that's like it. I don't have much drive for a Switch anymore.
As somebody who owns a Switch, no, you want to Switch just for some of the games, and they're really good for some of the games.
Well, you got to realize the only game I want is Zelda.
And Three Houses.
No, I don't even want Three Houses.
I kind of want Three Houses.
I don't want Pokemon because like I've seen enough gameplay to know that I don't like the gameplay. I'm not fond of like I've watched Snap. I've watched somebody play through Snap, and I'm like I watched it and I fell asleep in the first hour of watching this person play. I was like, wow, this is boring.
I think if you were playing it, it would be a little bit different.
No, because I recently rewatched somebody play through because the person I watched play through the original Pokemon Snap in 4 hours, I think it was. And then I watched they started playing Pokemon Snap and Switch, and fuck man, I was so bored.
I kind of want to get Pokemon Snap.
It's very much like the first one.
No, it isn't, because the first one has puzzles in it for you to like solve as you're playing. So like, hey, how do I get to the 3rd level? Well, I have to get the apple. I have to hit the electrode at the very end. Well, how do I get the magnetites to allow me to take a picture of them? I throw an apple at the ground. They calm down. And you can take a picture of them. Oh, if I do it enough, they'll all gather together, and I can take a picture of all 3 together as a magneton. Oh well, how do I get it? Each level has a lot of puzzles in it. Like there is way more content in the new 2019 one.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's multiple routes. You can go at different times of day. You get different types of Pokemon, but it's so kind of. It looks great. It looks gorgeous, but there's nothing to do. You're not solving anything. You're not like being clever. You're like, oh, this is how I get to this level. It's you fill up an experience bar and then you get to proceed forward.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like, for you to unlock in multiple stages, you have to do multiple areas multiple times to get different pictures. Like, oh man, there's a
Allan just doesn't like it.
no.
So we're waiting on that free roaming Pokemon game that's going to be coming out.
Let's hope.
Because with Pokemon Snap, I thought it'd been real rad if like the second game was like, you don't have the cart thing to write in anymore. You're actively walking around. I'd be like, that'd be super fucking cool. That means you get your shots lined up and whatever.
I don't mind the idea of the cart being what you're driving around on like a track. I actually really don't mind that. I find that actually be really good because it allows them to set up the encounters and let them set up the puzzles the way they need to, which is the reason why Pokemon Snap on Nintendo 64 was so good. Like, it's the reason why, like, the carrot, like, you're passing by a tall bunch of grass, and suddenly this Doodle just pops out in front of you, and a Meowth comes out chasing it, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. Or you throw a Pester Ball in the grass, and a Scyther pops out on top. Or you throw a Pester Ball into the water, and out pops this Magikarp, so you get this aerial shot of the Magikarp. You knock down an animal in front of the track, suddenly your cart stops, and so you can turn and take more pictures. You can take other images of like Lapras, or I'm just referencing the first level because it's one of the levels I know the best because I fucking mastered that shit.
Hey, Allan.
What's up?
Shifting gears from Pokemon.
Sorry.
I'm just working on my night that I bought from local comic book store, I might say. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, okay. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about like doing a blue and silver color scheme. If I do a blue and silver color scheme where the bottom is completely blue, like all the armor is blue except for like part of the shoulder is silver, do you think that would be allowed?
Yeah, it's whatever you want, dude.
Okay.
Like,
so if I paint them the way I want to be painted, because like I really want to do Dark Angels, but I don't want to do like green.
I mean, you could do Heresy era Dark Angels, which is just black armor with red and white trim.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll get you a picture of Dark Angels so you can from the Horus Heresy, so you can see what it looks like.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give in and just do green because I like their aesthetic so much. But yeah, no, I'm kind of, if you're looking at a Switch, Josh, I will encourage you. There are people who are buying a bunch of them, so.
I'll get one eventually.
If the image
Just
will load.
I was pondering of like getting a broken Switch and maybe fixing it, but I've heard like it's not as easy as like replacing a battery. It's more of like, oh no, these chips are fucked. I'm like, yeah. That's a little tougher.
Here you go, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Yeah.
Kinda. Okay.
I don't really have much else to talk about.
Why does the Warhammer community just have so many strict fucking things when it comes to like their painning?
Not really. There's a lot of painting methods out there, dude. That's Horus Heresy. That's like old lore stuff. That's what they used to be. That's the reason why they're called Dark Angels. They had black armor with white and red. That's why they were Dark Angels.
But what I mean by that is just like if you paint them a specific way, they become a different legion.
Oh, that's because of the lore stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's in-universe explanations for that stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff I don't like about Warhammer.
How? Like that is the entire point of Warhammer. Like you have the same thing in like
War Machine?
In War Machine and in technically you have it also in like things like Bolt Action and Flames of War, 2 World War II games. You have it in actually you don't have it as much in Mech Warrior because technically that depends upon what you're doing.
You want to do?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what you want to do. You can have your mechs being bright and pink because you're kind of like a crazy batch of mercenaries, or you can be like, oh, I'm part of House Steiner, so I have very mute grays or mute greens because I'm a very militarist style, fighting style, with my assaults and heavies as a scout lance. No, that meme will not die because that meme is true.
But like what I mean by that is like War Machine, you can do like different colors. Like you can do like purple cricks.
Well, yeah,
And-
well, that's the thing is like a good example. I have a Kador mech on my thing that has green and bone for its accents because it's supposed to be like I was going
Bone
for that.
jack.
Yeah. No, not bone.
I
jack.
just-
No, it's got like a cream bone color on some of its armor paneling.
Man, I really hope my Warjacks survive.
But like for me, Kador is red or white because they're the northern Russian faction, and for me that would be how I do it. Is you look at what your faction is, you pick a theme, and then you work with it. If you can work with it in another way, such as like, hey, I'm doing the Winter Guard, but I want to do it in a forested area, so maybe the coat is like this dapper green or like very.
See, I just tried to paint all of my mechs to look like, or all my Warjacks to look like Autobots.
Well, you already told me that
So-
you did this, so like I'm not stopping anybody from doing it. It's just like when people say I want to base it off this, you send like this is actually like a really big thing in the community, because even though I paint Imperial Fist, I have 2 different color schemes for my fists. I have my Firstborn and my 30K paint scheme, and then I have my Primaris paint scheme, and they are vastly different. My Firstborn and 30K is a very bright yellow with like dark recessed shading and like rich black trim with a touch of blue gray on it to make it pop. It's done like that for a very specific reason. In the contrast, my Primaris things are a very dull muted yellow that still is very vibrant, that has red trim and red marking parts, because they're different companies from my Firstborn company of fists for 40K. And that's how you see the differences. Imperial Guard is also something like, hey, I want to paint a very bright regiment, so they're all going to be reds, blues, and I'm going to work off like Napoleonic color scheming of like their coats and armor. So that's how you do that, and that's where you look at references. For Tau, you get a very digital like, oh man, I'm starting to ramble again.
Yeah. Can you tell Allan's been not on the podcast for a couple weeks? So what I'm going to say right now is I'm going to say, like, I was just asking about this question because I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay. And the reason why I think that Warhammer has a lot of like is very stringent about things is because you don't. The thing about Warhammer, in specific way, is like when I did War Machine, I could basically paint whatever jack I wanted in whatever way.
Well,
so I could do the color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do that in Warhammer, it sounds like, but the problem is like I can't do like 3 different factions and 3 different, like I can't have a Marine all of a sudden painted blue and then have another Marine painted green.
No, like technically you could, but that's just Death Watch. And they all have black armor, and the only thing that's different color is their pauldrons.
Yeah.
But they're also a very cheap faction to play if you want to. But the thing is that, like, if you're doing a Space Marine chapter, you're doing your Space Marine chapter. You're doing their color scheme, their techniques, they're all their style. You're building off that. Now, there's some Space Marine chapters that do not have much information beyond their color scheme. So you can go, hey, rather than doing the traditional pauldron trim in the color of the company, which would be white, gold, blue, red, green, black, and then and 4 other colors. And Scout Company doesn't have a color because they're scouts. Shoosh. Then you could say, hey, instead of it being on their pauldrons, it's on their right knee pad with their squad marking being on their left knee pad. Or, hey, because I have a red...
I think we're talking way too much about this.
No.
I should be on...
No, because I actually really like this because I don't get to talk about it much right now because my buddy's taking a break from painting. Well, I'm starting to get back into painting. Well, I'll use it for downtime when I get the chance. And like,
we should live stream. I should live stream my painting antics.
You could, but you'd get bullied by people online. I'm not even kidding.
I know, but I would revel in it.
I would recommend watching a couple videos online by like Duncan, the Warhammer community stuff. thin your paints and two thin coats. Oh man, it's really funny. But
It's funny because now I'm like actually thinking about picking up an airbrush again. I'm like, oh, because like that was the thing with me is like I always felt like as if like airbrushing was like the next step, and I didn't have room for an airbrush.
It is the next step, but at the same time, there's a couple steps in between just starting going. Well, I know how to do my bases. I know how to do this, and airbrushing. Because right now, for me, airbrushing is I'm doing large details. So I'm painting like I just painted my Star Destroyer with my airbrush, well, not before the podcast started, and I was painting on with the gray with the new airbrush I tried, and all I'm doing is painting one color on it, and then I'm gonna have to start practicing a very thin practice of line recessing. So like you take a darker color than what you have for your base and you trace the colors with your airbrush, and then you fill in the centers of all the panels that you didn't touch with a brighter color, so it gets this very nice line contrast to it, and then you very gently touch like extreme highlights to all that. And I don't know if I'm ready for it, but hey, I'm gonna find out. And if I was painting the Star Destroyer by hand, I would base it, give it a wash, then maybe an ink line. I don't know if I'm still going to do that. And then I'd dry brush a brighter color on top of that. And then I would very gently paint in the panel, so like every panel is a brighter color than the recessed lines. There's so much work to get something to look nice that a lot of people don't understand. Like, I would post my Tarek Torgodon. I don't know where I put him. I recently just had him in my hands.
I really want to get I really hope my one of my Warjacks survived, because then I can show you my Thunder head that looks like Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Actually,
I know,
no, hold on.
I know I'm rambling. I'm rambling, I know. Can we talk about...
this is going to be an episode where Allan basically is 90% of the episode.
I got to talk about Castlevania, because I need to, like, I got the ping of, you were running out of disk space, and I'm like, oh, I need to...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Allan, Josh is all excited because then he can talk.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about Castlevania next week after I mull over it again, but...
Just say it's good. Just say it's good.
I'm not going to say that.
Just say it's good.
It's got problems.
Of course it does. It's Castlevania.
It's got problems because I think they rushed this season out. Like, this season feels like it should have been spread out over 2 seasons to finish the plots related to all of them, but they're all really condensed down. A character I like got shat on really badly.
Is it Alucard?
No. Alucard has its own problems.
Okay, so this is the only one I can find.
Sorry, I'm just deleting old files to make sure I have enough space to keep recording. Oh, thank God I opened up a gigabyte.
This is the only one I can find of old Rhodey, and I have to fix him up a little bit because I broke him.
Yeah, that's not a bad start. It's pretty solid.
Well, no, it's like it's good. It's fine.
All right, I'm gonna really quickly talk about Castlevania, and then I'm gonna dip so you guys can talk about other things, because I'm running out of disk space.
Okay.
Castlevania has problems. I liked some parts of it. I feel like they needed more time to develop them out. Hector has a small arc, but it's kind of rushed. Alucard is kind of there. He meets some characters, has an interaction and stuff like that. Does fun stuff related to that. There's some really dumb things that happen in the show that shouldn't happen. There's some real oh man. On top of that, I actually I know that this isn't this is supposed to be fantasy and stuff like this, but I've kind of had this little tick that I was watching the show, and I'm just like, why are there all these brown people in Romania and Transylvania and Hungary? Why is there all these brown people here? And I didn't mind if it was port cities because that makes sense. There's trade happening, so black people, like all these things are happening. But it's not. We're all in the middle of landlocked Transylvania, Romania, Hungary, and Moldavia, as well as just a touch of the Ottoman Empire. And like, it's weird, because it's like a lot. Way more than I thought. Like, Romanians are pretty pale. I'm just, oh.
You're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on here?
No, I'm just genuinely confused about like some of the choices that they've made. I will say that the animation is a lot better than season 3. Like they've learned from their mistakes in that regard. But there's also other problems such as the plot feels very rushed in many cases. There's a lot
Sounds about right.
Huh?
Sounds about right, because...
Okay, I'm not even going to spoil this. This is a thing. Hey, if you're escaping a village that is very bad to defend to a castle, where should you be when you arrive at the castle to defend yourself?
Probably very far away from the castle.
No, inside. You need to defend yourself. You're moving to a castle for safety. Where should you be when you arrive at the castle?
Huh.
You should be
inside?
You should be inside the castle because, as they said in Game of Thrones, castles and fortresses are force multipliers. 100 men can hold off 1,000 in a good, well-defended position. Like, that's the point of castles and fortresses and forts. They give you force multipliers. The enemy has to attack you and has to force you out of a position to advance. That's the point of a castle. You know what happens in this show? Hey, there's clearly this army advancing on us. We're going to meet them outside of the castle to fight them on the field of battle. What the fuck?
I still have to finish season 3.
Oh, man. Man, there's some dumb things that happen in this show. I promise you. There's good stuff, but there's some really dumb things. I'd say it's overall okay, but there's a lot of things wrong with it at the same time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about there, Josh? Or
Allan, stop rambling. For fuck's sake.
Really?
Oh,
I mean, he has clearly things to talk about, and I'm just really just kind of looking at my teardown and going like, man, I'd like to play that again.
I want to play this game. No, I want to play this game. Mm-hmm. And then instead of playing good games, you play crazy
weird
games.
offbeat games.
I swear, Josh, I could buy you a video game, and then like you will not play it.
I'm like a cat.
Yeah. Unless I say the game is bad, and then you are like, oh, well, maybe I'll play it.
No, you have to convince me that it's a weird indie darling. Then I'll be like, okay.
So play Turnip Boy, because it is one of those.
Yeah, I was kind of pondering that one. It looks kind of interesting. Although
I'm right
actually,
now.
I was going to say that I still have that really cool boomer shooter list that I'm still working on adding to and adding descriptions for, and I'm like, I want to slowly buy all of these just as time goes on.
Maybe that would be like some good content for us to do one day, is just you going through all the boomer shooters.
Yep. And just being like, this one's real good because of this reason. This one's real different. This one's real different. Actually, that's the thing with like all these.
Put Doom Eternal on the list because fuck it.
It's not. I mean,
it's a boomer shooter, Josh.
I would say Doom 2016 is. Like, I mean, it is, but it's not quite what I call a boomer shooter.
See, but you're wrong there because
Up at maybe boomer shooter. Maybe.
I'm just like trying to fix my knife right now because like it just did something weird and I'd never seen this before in my life.
Did it turn into a spoon?
No.
Did it turn into a fork?
No, what happened is it came apart and the blade almost flew out.
Oh, God. The next thing I would hear go, ow!
So I've cut myself like 15 times with this fucking blade already.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a dangerous object.
No. I've done far worse to my hands with knives. So word of advice, kids, don't play with knives. Obviously. But like basically like during this podcast, like I've been like, oh okay, maybe I'll assemble my model kit because I have this model kit that I haven't worked on in like a week. So I'm slowly cutting out parts. I also bought Curios Gundam because I'm a Gundam fan. Fuck you. Shut up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were like, hey, we're gonna unveil. The week I got it, they unveiled the Virtue Gundam. So Allan's favorite Gundam because literally it's nothing but chunk.
Oh, you mean for the new series that's coming out?
No, there's a new series.
Yeah, remember
Hathaway.
Hathaway, yeah.
Oh no, we're not talking about the Penelope and the what else is it? Forget what it is. It's a Penelope and something else, but it's that one is.
Chunk.
That is the kid I'm buying for Josh.
Where is this Gundam even from?
00 Virtue. That's from Hathaway Flash.
Is that from Hathaway Flash?
Yes, the new ones are from Hathaway Flash because basically what ended up Hathaway Flash takes before F90 Gundam F91. So oh shit.
Chonk.
1 second.
Jesus Christ. I am Chonk.
It's just the Virtue. And then the new one is Penelope, I think it is. Which is that. There you go, Josh. What do you think of that? Do you like it? Do you like it?
That's pretty cool.
I'm kind of indifferent towards it. I don't like over-designed Gundams, and that's been my problem for a lot of Gundams recently. Like,
this is like the
and then there's me with the chunky boy. I'm like, that's actually something I like. It's chunky, but I like it because it feels like it's a Gundam. It's simple, it's clean, it doesn't have too much moving parts on it, it doesn't feel over-designed. I can name where the over-designed problem starts specifically, but I'm not going to name the series because, like, everybody already hates it.
What series?
Everybody already hates it. Gundam Seed.
Oh.
That's really over-design really begins to happen.
I mean, it was literally fine at the strike, and then the Freedom came out, and you're like, okay, this is super robot territory. And then it just went bonkers from there. To the point of where Bandai killed it. It's the Zai Gundam. That's the other one that you're talking about. But this was all like done before like F91 and stuff like that. Like, so I personally would recommend it. That's the one I would kind of recommend for Josh is like, let's get him a Penelope because fuck it, it would be hilarious. And the thing's like $70.
Dang. Oh, and also there's a bit of a story of how Target in the States just gave up on carrying hockey cards. No, sorry, sports cards Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, because they're like, man, these customers are sleazy and they're shitty and we hate them, so we're not going to carry these cards at all. Like,
That
but
sounds like something that I would do.
the funny thing is, they're still carrying Magic the Gathering, which I say is the most sleaziest. Like, it's kind of weird how that worked out.
I mean, I'm just going to point this out, Josh. I've advocated for us to not carry Magic the Gathering cards multiple times, and my argument is, look, these guys come in, they buy shit from us, and then they stream it on YouTube to make loads of money, and we should really be giving that money to game stores.
I mean, that's basically like what. Still, I think if more big box stores just hate having their cards getting stolen, they're just not going to carry anymore.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like,
although Walmart wants money, so they're probably just going to shove it in a glass case and call it a day.
I mean, that's pretty much everything that everyone does, right?
Yeah. Although, if you want to stop stealing at Walmart, you're going to have to shove everything in a glass case. You want that? You have to get an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe wait 30 minutes to get it.
Yeah, just wait 6 years.
Yep.
Is that a podcast? I'm sorry. Like,
I think it is.
I'm starting to run out of
think
space
that
again.
is.
I don't know what else to delete. I need to clean up my computer here a bit.
I think that is. So thank you, everyone, for listening to Black Mind Games podcast. Episode... Well, we're really close to the bullshit app number. 290 or 300, so we're going to have to do 299, so we're really close to 300, so we're going to have to plan something for that episode. Make it special or something like that. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Alan, for joining me. Yeah, sorry if anyone got hurt or offended about what we said. Have a good night. Bye.
Who? Huh?
We
Where?
said nothing. We said...
Whatever.